This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Couple things. First of all, let's start off with Bam, because I thought Bam's performance last night, 32 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists in the process. And as you all know, Bam had this whole thing about, well, I let my team down in game 5, and I don't think any of us were actually believing any of that crap, that he let the team down in game 5. And in game 5, he had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, a block, shot 5 of 11. I mean, shot 3 of 4 from three-point range. I'm not sure where he let them down. You know what I'm saying? He had a really good game, but he felt like he didn't do enough. And I thought that's where Bam, when he talks about bouncing back, that's what I thought was the big message on his part about he had to bounce back.
I let my teammates down in game 5. So, I just had to realign myself and be who I really want to become. And I showed that tonight. You said you haven't seen me be a scorer in the fourth before. Well, there you go. So it's just one of those things, the coaches, they want me to be better, they want me to do great things. And that's the first time, I got played back to back. So, being in that moment and embracing it and taking over and winning the conference finals is a great thing for me. But at the end of the day, we got 4 more. Business isn't done yet.
This started a couple of years back when Riley said this guy was going to be special. And while he was physically talented, he was still raw, okay? And you're like, okay, well, all right, well, it's the Godfather. He says it. Zoe comes out, says the same thing. This guy's going to be great. And they saw the work ethic. And I think what you saw last night was Bam taking another step. He became an all-star this year. He is now playing like a superstar. He dominated. We're going to play Brad Stevens in a little bit, and you're going to hear Brad Stevens talk about him. And Bam last night, I truly believe, took that next step to be a superstar. And that's how he played last night. When you come up with 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists in a closing game, okay, that is sending a message that I'm here to lead. And Jimmy says all the time, he's the heart and soul of our basketball team. And all the guys say, when he's going, we're hard to beat. And they're right. And we keep waiting for Bam to take that next step and that next step. And I've been saying myself that I think the three-point shot is that next step for him. You know what? I think there was a step before that, and it was last night, where he just said, F this, I'm taking over. And nobody's stopping me. And his drive and his determination to be great is what we saw last night. And if you're a Heat player, and I know Jimmy Butler has got to be smiling right now because he's watching these young guys around him grow to a level that none of us really know if they can get there. They can talk about it and we can say, hey, this guy can be a great player and all of that, but it's up to that player to want that, to desire that. And that's the beauty of watching Tyler, of watching Bam, of watching Duncan. They want to be great. Even Kendrick Nunn, I believe, wants to be great. He just hasn't found the consistency that the other 3 guys have right now. That's all. He's got to work on it, and I'm sure this offseason coming up, it'll be a short one, but I think they'll try to get there with him. Although I've got something on Nunn that I want to share later on. But to me, what Bam did, it was one of those things that it was a satisfying moment for his soul. And he didn't need to feel guilty, but he felt guilty. And so redemption was what he was desiring.
After the game, after Game 5, I put that on myself that my teammates would never have that type of performance from me again. And for those 24 hours, I was locked in. And my family know how I get when I play bad, and especially we lose. I put that on my shoulders because I feel like I could have did something different. So tonight I did something different, came out with being extra aggressive, just locked in, and I made a promise to UD. Now, when y'all see UD, y'all ask them what that promise was. I can't tell you.
Did I make up a word by desiring, by the way? Anyway, I guess we're all dying to find out what that promise is, right? And it's so good to have a UD behind the scenes, kind of being the mentor, the leader, the security guard, I don't know, maybe even a little bit of the answer man for them, right? Because he's been through it all, and he can kind of walk them through every part of this experience and every other one that they've had over the last year. It's just so good to watch this franchise and the way they embrace their own players. And that's why culture stays around. Because it's like, well, you can watch Zoe's walking around and Keith Haskins is walking around and UD is walking around, and it's all of that stuff. And you see constantly the people that were a part of this organization. You know what I mean? And they're there. And they were part of establishing this culture or maintaining the culture. In the case of UD and Zoe, obviously those are the guys that help establish that culture here with the Miami Heat. And Bam fits it perfectly. And that's why when you see everything's about fit, right? And Jimmy Butler was a guy that did not fit eventually in Chicago with some of the young guys there. Did not fit with Minnesota. And then in Philadelphia, they chose to give Tobias Harris the money and not him. And again, you're wondering what the hell's going on. I even wondered myself when he signed here, did he want to be just a number one guy? Was that the whole deal? Did he have a hard-on of, all right, no, I got to be the number one guy. I got to get the ball. I got to score, all of that. I wondered that myself when they signed Jimmy. Was it that? And then I'm wondering, is he going to even be able to lure somebody because of everything that's happened in Philadelphia and Minnesota and Chicago? And while it's too early to tell because he hasn't had the following offseason, which is coming up, and would they acquire somebody else? But when you hear Bam talk about him, right, you see why this team has responded, and you see why Jimmy has actually found a home.
I couldn't have an opinion about him because I didn't know. And I'll never judge a man, by his antics and what he does, until I get to formally meet him and just talk to him, have dinner. And, Jimmy came into this team, he wanted to get in where he fit in. It wasn't, we knew he was our max player, but he didn't come in like, this is my show, this is how I'm gonna do it, this is my way or the highway. He came in, bought into the system, and he didn't care who scored. You got to think about that. A lot of max players, if they don't have the ball, they upset, they mad, and I appreciate Jimmy because at the end of the day we feed off each other. He was letting me loose in the fourth. So that's my piece on that. He's a great dude off the court. Coffee too damn expensive, but other than that, that's my man, $100 grand.